This program is sponsored by Dave Stahl.
Welcome back to Hour 2 of Gun Sports Radio, where your hosts Dave Stahl, Lance Pelkey, and Michael Schwartz educate you on anything and everything related to our Second Amendment right. Visit gunsportsradio.com with your questions and comments, or to learn how to become a sponsor and or guest of the show. Now here comes Hour 2 of Gun Sports Radio, and your hosts Dave, Lance, and Michael.
All right, folks, welcome back to the second hour of Gun Sports Radio. Look for our shows on your favorite podcast platform. It's simple. At gunsportsradio.com. That's gunsportsradio.com. Second hour sponsorship is our good buddies at Cali Key. Drop in a Cali Key into any AR-15 or 10 to instantly make it California compliant. For more information, check out Cali Key at calikey.com. That's KALIKEY.com. Hey, self-defense and emergencies can happen to anyone, and unfortunately, the justice system may not be on your side. While you protect your family and property, U.S. Law Shield is here to defend you 24/7, 365 days a year. With the comprehensive self-defense coverage at an affordable price, bad guys don't take days off, and neither does U.S. Law Shield. What's your plan or your defense? To defend yourself or your family? Consider a plan from U.S. Law Shield. Check them out today, uslawshield.com, uslawshield.com. All right, this segment is brought to you by the good folks at San Diego County Gun Owners, SDCGO.org. If you own a gun, you need to belong to San Diego County Gun Owners. It's almost a natural. And we've got our good buddy Joe Germisi, the covert blogger, and he wants to talk about the dangers of manufactured mass public hysteria. You think we have mass public hysteria right now?
Yeah, I think we do. You know, we talked about this a little bit in the beginning of the show, and you know, it's just I wanted to write about this week just from the gun owner perspective, I guess, because what's interesting, I think, you know, with this whole coronavirus thing is, you know, in my opinion, a lot of this is manufactured, and not the coronavirus itself is real. That's a real thing. The crisis, I think, is a manufactured thing. Right. And I think it's being hyped mainly by the mainstream media for different reasons. And I really do think part of it's political. You know, this constant never-ending attack on the president and the country and stuff that's supported by them. And I think that's certainly part of it. I think if we had President Clinton today instead of President Trump, you wouldn't be seeing this kind of reporting on this stuff because...
Really?
I linked to a story in the article that I wrote this week on they were criticizing Jim Acosta, of all people, for using the coronavirus to attack the president. And these were people that would normally be on that side or his side, were criticizing him for doing that.
Sure.
And, you know, that is part of it. The other part of it is just the media does this normally. I mean, the more they could hype something up, the more of a crisis atmosphere they can create. You know, the better it is for them, for business. Even Fox News. I mean, if you look at Fox, I mean, it's been nonstop. And, you know, one of the few, I try to listen to Tucker Carlson from time to time on there.
Oh, my God. And I like Tucker Carlson. I
like him, too. And he did not, I couldn't listen to it the other day.
I haven't been able to listen to him all week.
Yeah.
It's doom and gloom, and I'm going to be dead by Thursday of next week.
And it's all this coronavirus stuff. And their intent is different. I think if you hear that on CNN, it's directed at the president. If you hear it on Fox, it's just directed
at us.
Well, yeah, it's just hyping things for their business. Yeah, so I mean, I understand that. But, you know, if you look at this, if you look at the numbers, because that's what goofs me up being an engineer, I tend to do that. And, you know, if you look at the flu season, and this is something I didn't know up until a couple of days ago, that in a typical flu season, this is from the CDC, in a mild flu season, we have about 12,000 deaths or fatalities related to the flu
in the U.S.
in the United States in a year. So in an annual flu season, in a severe flu season, it's been as high as 56,000. 3 years ago, in the 2017-28 flu season, it was 80,000, which was a 40-year high. And I don't remember ever hearing anything about any of that. And it's just, you know, typically they don't cover it. You might see a story here and there, but they don't hype it up as the end of the world because it's life. We have 330 million people in this country.
Right.
That kind of stuff happens.
Yeah.
But for this, they're making a bigger deal out of it. And my point with the gun owners, from a gun owner's perspective, is look how easy it is to whip the public up into a state of panic. I mean, if you think about if we really had something going on there, if there were people really dying or something bad was really happening right now, I mean, what would it take? Really, it doesn't take that much to get people in a state of panic or hysteria where they start behaving irrationally. You're a step away from violence.
And they have been saying day in and day out, it's a very low threat.
Well, and that's what they were saying too.
But nobody's listening to that.
Well, right, because it doesn't fit that story. Because they say I think about 80% of the people that come down with it have what they describe as mild symptoms. In other words, you'd probably treat yourself at home with over-the-counter stuff. The other 20% are going to feel bad enough to where they have to go to the doctor. And a fraction of those people, unfortunately, are going to die. Or go to
ICU and then possibly die.
Yeah, and most of those people that have those kinds of problems have underlying health issues, or, it's dangerous for the elderly, just like the flu is. We were talking about that earlier. My mother-in-law is 86. My mom is 86. They don't want the flu either. It's dangerous, when you start to get a little bit older. Yeah. So, and I'm not saying ignore this or anything. I'm just saying, be a little bit rational about it.
Well, Newsom's talking about closing all the restaurants and all the bars.
Yeah, see, and that's the part that really bugged me. That's what got me spun up to start writing this thing.
Hello.
Well, because you're hurting people financially. People that work in those places,
they don't care.
They can't go 2 or 3 weeks without money. They don't have the financial capability usually to absorb, okay, I'm not going to get paid for a month. A lot of those people are day to day trying to pay their rent, do that stuff. And you're hurting those people for no reason.
Right.
And that's the part that kind of bugged me about it. It'd be nice if we just were a little more rational about how we're going to approach this.
Well, and I'll go back into going to the grocery stores, and you see and you see people just filling their carts, with things that you don't need all of that. You don't need to take every can of soup off the shelf.
Yeah, well, and and I linked to another little article too in the article that I wrote about there were fights breaking out. They were saying, and it was someplace back east in a Costco and a Sam's Club.
Right.
And again, we're not that far from violence. A friend was telling me the other day they were in Trader Joe's yesterday, and the person working at Trader Joe's was saying she had to stop people from taking things out of other people's carts.
Oh,
I mean, that's the level that it's getting at. Yeah.
Well, you'll get a. So my wife and I, we mentioned it off air that my wife and I, we just stopped at a grocery store last night about 9:30 just because we wanted to see what the aftermath was, and we walked into the frozen foods, and it was basically empty. And she looked at me and she says, "Do you think they have those big enough freezers for everything they've taken?" And I said, "Well, probably not, but it doesn't make any difference." But
if you look at just comparing this with gun owners and what we talk about frequently, they point out that over half the deaths where guns involved is suicide, and most of the rest are gang members and criminals and that sort of thing. I'm not going to commit suicide, and I'm not a criminal. No. So why would you restrict my firearms?
Because it's easier to go after you than the criminals.
Right, but what I'm seeing is those same gun owners are going, hey, we have this influenza-like disease, this coronavirus, that is probably pretty dangerous for people, in certain, health brackets and age brackets. Therefore, let's take these restrictive rules and apply them to the entire nation. I'm like, wait a minute.
I know.
Aren't we on the other side of that argument usually? But
and there was something else we were talking about a little bit earlier about there seems to be a rush to the gun stores and the gun shops. We heard this from Casey. I heard it from David Chong, who's going to be on in a little bit. I read an article this morning, and there's a blog site called Powerline that I read. I've been reading it for about a dozen years. Great information on there. But a guy was writing about being in his local gun range, and it was just swamped with people. And he was wondering, who are these people? Because he was thinking, conservatives, gun owners have guns, have ammunition. So who's running in there now? And I want to try to remember to ask David when he calls in, who's coming into your store really with this right now?
You called to go in to collect or do the paperwork on that shotgun you won, and he said, no, don't come in.
He said you can come in, but he said, we're swamped in here. It's going to be a wait. And it's interesting because I'd like to ask him, are these first-time gun owners that are coming in? Is he seeing other people?
That's a good question. Well, again, it's just crazy. Well, as long as I've got my new skis, I don't care. I'm golden. I'm golden. No one's touching my new skis.
Yeah, no one's touching my new skis.
Not even you. You stay away from me. Hey, did you see the T-shirt market? People are putting toilet paper on shirts, making T-shirts, selling T-shirts.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
You're gonna make a T-shirt that says "No one touches my new skis."
That's right. Nobody's touched my new skis. Right here on FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
Welcome back. You are listening to Gun Sports Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
California assault weapon law makes it almost impossible to own an AR pattern rifle. What's the solution? Well, it'd be Cali Key. Converts any mil-spec direct impingement AR platform rifle into a straight pull-bolt action rifle so it can have all the features without being considered an assault weapon. It's a true drop-in solution. No milling, no static modifications, and no turning off your gas system. Keep your entire AR collection intact at a price you can afford at Cali Key. That's CaliKey.com, KALIKEY.com. All right, so we got two guests on the line. You want to take care of that?
So real quick, we've got Paul Lichtenstein, and he heads up an organization that does competitive shooting, and anybody can get involved. So I want to have him on real quick, and so Paul, are you on the line?
Yep, I'm right here. How you guys doing?
Hey, we're doing terrific, man. And by the way, happy birthday last week.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we don't care about
We're
those
going to have him
anymore,
call
right?
last week, but he's had a birthday. So real quick, a lot of people go to the range, which is terrific, and use their guns. But, it's really nice when you get some extra training and come out and have some fun and do some competitive shooting at a very low cost. And Paul's been involved with this in his organization for quite some time. So real quick, Paul, can you tell us about your organization, the website and that, and when your next your shoot might be?
Sure. We have two clubs I deal with, Lemon Grove Rod and Gun Club, and our next shoot will be the beginning of April. What's the first Saturday? April 6th?
First Saturday, okay.
Yeah, whatever the first Saturday is. That's our normal Action Handgun Match. And with respect to training, we take people of all skill levels, and when we have a match, the first thing we tell them in the safety brief is we're here to practice safe gun handling. So it doesn't take any of the competition out of it, but it makes them a little more comfortable, and all of us try and help all of the, especially the new people. We always ask who's new, and we put them on our squad with us, and we watch them very closely and mentor them and show them, the right things to do. So at the end of the day, we all go home without any incidents, which is always good.
Right. Good. And how much is that?
For a non-member, $15. And it's we
terrific.
Shoot for about 2.5 hours. We have 4 good stages of steel and paper and combinations of all the combinations you can think of. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and that's April 4th. I know Joe Dramisi got me to go a couple of times, and he takes his your Glock 34.
Yeah, and you haven't been back though. What's the deal?
Yeah, I got to.
Everybody's asking about you.
I got to do it. So anyway, and the name of the organization again, Paul?
This one is the Lemon Grove Rod and Gun Club.
Okay.
And the website will be the initials, LGRGC.com, LemonGroveRodGunClub.com. So take a look. You can see there's a calendar portion of the website, and it shows you all the matches that are coming up and when. And tell you, it's a lot of fun. It really is. Go out with a bunch of good guys and girls, and the thrill we get after shooting for so long is helping new people, showing them this stuff, and helping old people, too. We have a bunch of us old-timers out there all the time.
Yeah.
So it's not just a young kid sport, although they do beat us badly.
Well, I know you guys, we had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun when I was out there, and it's just really great for folks if have just been in the range, or if you just shoot in the desert once in a while, or if you're really good at it. I highly encourage you. That's April 4th is the next time around, and we got to thank you again, Paul, for coming on, and we'll look to have you on again soon.
Oh, great. Thanks for having me, guys. Always a pleasure talking to you. Stay dry and stay healthy.
All right. Thanks you
Paul.
very much. Thanks.
Bye-bye, gentlemen.
Thank you very much. And next on, we've got our firearms expert, David Chong with AO Sword. And Dave, are you on the line?
Hi, guys.
Hey, there he is. So, man, what an exciting week at AO Sword at your gun shop there. Tell us about it. What's been happening?
What a strange time. I guess I could sum it up in one fact this way. In the past week, we've sold about 250,000 rounds of ammunition.
Wow,
man, that is
out of one store.
Yeah, and we still have some left. We're mostly out of full metal jacket plinking ammo in all of the popular calibers.
Sure,
we still do have maybe a dozen cases, so about a little over 10,000 rounds of 223.
Okay,
and then we have lots of defensive ammo, jacketed hollow point stuff, but that usually that goes really slow, onesie twosies. Now people are buying that by the case.
Wow, and they've been talking about people selling a lot of guns. So how about you? You've been selling a lot of guns? Do you have anything left? How about those shotguns you had?
I picked a terrible time to have a sale on shotguns because now there's a run on shotguns.
Yeah.
The sale ended last week, and now I can't restock. The world is sold out of tactical shotguns. But it was a great value for those who came to my sale and bought early. We sold in the past week probably 40 home defense shotguns.
Wow.
Well, as long as you didn't sell my shotgun, I'll be in tomorrow to start that paperwork.
Yeah, your shotgun is safe and sound, but plan on maybe an hour or two wait.
That's okay because of this Corona hysteria. The class I was going to be teaching next week got canceled, so I got time now.
Oh, that's good. Well, it's actually a wonderful atmosphere. People are talking, visiting. We have a huge surge in new gun buyers and people who previously, we're still not seeing any anti-gunners who are coming in and go, well, I need one, but rather folks who, I've always been around guns and into guns, but never really got around to getting one, but now I feel like I need to get one. We're happy to see them start. Unfortunately, they do require more hands-on service because in California you've got to take a test and get your firearm safety certificate, and then you do have to produce a bunch of paperwork and documentation showing who you are.
Yeah.
So that just takes time to get those people through, and we also want to. We're really a high service store, so we don't just say, hey, this is what we got on sale. This is good for everybody. Amid this rush, we are taking the time to, where do you live? What is your experience? Okay, well, no, Uncle Joe's double barrel shotgun idea isn't the greatest. Here's why. Here's what we recommend for you. And so that just takes time to put people in the right equipment.
Yeah, those first-time buyers are good potential customers for down the road as well. Absolutely. Another drawback for those folks, though, again in California with that 10-day waiting period, unlike other states, if things go dark soon, or Gavin Newsom follows through on not just his threat to shut down restaurants, but maybe extends that to shutting down retail, they couldn't get their gun. Because they don't go home with it the same day.
I was going to say, 10-day wait period. This all might be over in 10 days.
It might be over in 10 days.
I mean, right. Which is great. Now they have a new shotgun. So you said you sold 40 in the last week?
That's correct.
And
yes.
What's a normal week? How many shotguns do you normally sell in a week?
3 or 4.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, they cleaned me out of everything. The shotguns I have left now are really the higher end shotguns, $500 and up, and then the specialty shotguns. And I have tons of. I probably have 80 maybe 100 field shotguns, sporting shotguns for clay games or hunting in the store. But that's not what people want right now. They're all thinking more towards home defense and self-defense.
Now, you think they're buying shotguns because you don't have to point or aim a shotgun? Is that pretty much?
Well, so there is a general, and I know you're being facetious there, but yeah, there is the general belief that, well, I won't have to worry about aiming a shotgun, and it's just completely untrue. At typical household distances of 5 to 10 yards, the shotgun pattern is only 3, 4, 5 inches. So if you think about what 5 inches covers, or maybe even at double that range, 10 inches covers in a hallway, if you don't aim, you miss.
You miss.
And if we're shooting the wrong ammo, which is something I want to talk about in the next segment, you're missing through your own home's wall and then into whatever is behind your intended target.
And besides first-time buyers, is there any particular group that's feeling like they're not safe or something and they need to buy?
I have seen a tremendous increase in Asian Americans, Chinese, Filipino, Korean, and I don't even have a very large Asian population out here in El Cajon.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. Didn't Casey say about the same thing from the gun range, San Diego?
Well, have they been telling you why?
Well, it is quite frankly the same. It's fear about the same irrational source of the virus. The same irrationality that's driving people to go buy toilet paper so that they can have clean butts when the virus kills them is the same irrationality that people are concerned about that would lead to maybe persecution of Chinese people because it's seen as a Chinese problem, a Chinese origin problem.
Yeah, very sad.
And we are seeing that on the streets, too. San Francisco has had several cases of random attacks on the streets of Chinese people in Chinatown.
Jeez, San Francisco.
Not in San Francisco. Yeah. That can't be happening.
They all love each other and, kumbaya and whatnot.
I don't know if you've... So I have a friend who operates a security company here in East County, and he told me today that over this weekend there was a fist fight at the local 99-cent store over cases of water. Yep. So there are fights breaking out over supplies now in the stores.
It's crazy out there, my friend. It's totally crazy. All right, we're going to make you hang in for the next segment, so don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick break. This is Gun Sports Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
Hey, you need to take a CCW class for your San Diego CCW? You want an Arizona, Florida, or multi-state CCW? Well, visit CCWUSA.com. That's CCW USA. Offers small class sizes and expert instruction to fit your schedule and your wallet. 3 classes every month, 2 weekend classes, all starting at 8 a.m. Classes fill up quickly, so book now. Private lessons are also available. Great dates and times to meet your busy schedule. Check their website for details on how to apply for your San Diego or other multi-state CCW at CCWUSA.com. That's CCWUSA.com. All right, folks, have you been to A.O. Swart Firearms? Well, let me tell you what. They've got the widest selection of guns in San Diego County. Used to have a lot of used shotguns, but unfortunately, Dave decided to do a fire sale and kind of lost them all because they're gone. But he can get more. They've got over 600 unique guns in stock. including hundreds of used guns. Go see their full-service experienced gunsmith. They can do everything from mild repair to full custom firearms. A.O. Sword Firearms Store, located on 929 East Main Street in the lovely city of El Cajon. Go to their website at aosword.com, or you can give them a call at 619-749-4867. Build, buy, or repair. A.O. Sword Firearms is your go-to place for all things firearms. That's aosword.com, or you can call them at 619-749-4867. Hey, we got David Chong on the line, owner-operator of A.O. Sword. So, you got a little busy this last week, huh?
Overwhelming. It was like between 7 and 10 times our normal business volume. It was busy.
Were you ready?
Yeah, thank God I do have good people in place. I don't downstaff. When I find the right people, I keep them, and that's why most of our faces have been there for half a decade.
Excellent.
That's good stuff. Yeah.
Hey,
it's a hard business.
I wanted to walk you through something, Dave, and see if you agreed with me. Yeah. So you were talking about how you've been selling defensive shotguns. I think shotguns are enormously important. I think they're way underrated. I think everybody that has 5 or 6 ARs, they need to sell one of their ARs and get a shotgun, a Mossberg or a 500 or 590 or a Remington 870, something that's meant for self-defense, not pheasant. I think they're enormously important. But one of the things I run into a lot is people say, well, gosh, the thing only holds 6 or 7 rounds. Why would I take a shotgun that holds 6 or 7 rounds when I have a Glock that holds 15? But one thing, and this is where I want your expertise, David. We all just spent 4 days, in the desert, learning how to shoot a pistol, and the instruction is always, two rounds, 2 rounds in the thoracic cavity. So your 15 round Glock with plus 1, so 16 rounds. You don't really have 16 rounds. You have 8. If you have to, if in order to stop somebody, you have to put 2 rounds in the thoracic cavity. You really only have 8 rounds. With a shotgun that has 6 or 7 or 8 rounds, you don't have to put 2 in the thoracic cavity, with a shotgun. The whole point of a shotgun is it's got 6, 7, or 8 little 9mm pellets in it, and the stopping power far exceeds a pistol. Is my reasoning there, is my logic there sound?
Yeah, you bring up excellent points, and they're arguable. I like both platforms. The shotgun is a tremendously effective firearm. It like you were saying, you've got some 33 caliber, 9mm, 8, 9, 10 projectiles going into the same target all at once, and that is tremendously more effective than a single hit from a handgun. If you're using my recommended ammo, which I really want to talk about, instead of 9 projectiles, you've got maybe 27 25 to 30 caliber projectiles hitting the same person. That's a bad day.
Wow.
On the other hand, there's a huge misconception that that means that I can just shoot once and my blast fills a hallway from side to side, and it just one shot in the general direction of the bad guy means it's game over. It's just absolutely not true. A shotgun is a shoulder-fired weapon. It does need to be aimed, and it needs to be operated by someone who is very well versed in its use and operation. One of the most common things we see with new shotgun shooters, especially when we induce any kind of stress or time pressure, is they short stroke that shotgun, lock it up, and then it's a club. It's a useless brick.
Wow.
So the idea that, hey, a housewife who doesn't know guns, you can just hand her her shotgun, hand her her husband's shotgun, and everything's going to be all right, is just a very dangerous proposition. They don't understand that when bad guys attack, maybe at night, you're not at your best, and an unfamiliar platform, you're not going to be able to operate that, aim it well, or maybe load the next round. On the other hand, if you're not an experienced handgun shooter, we all saw this at in our 4-day handgun class. People can have trouble hitting a target even 10 yards away.
Yeah.
So
I can vouch for that.
The answer, the commonality here is training. Whatever you intend to use, if you want to have a security system in a dog, well, know how your security system and dog work, and take care of your dog and take care of your security system. When you have an intruder at your Ring doorbell, now is not the time to download the app. You know, if you have someone in your house threatening your family with a weapon, now is not the time to try and figure out how does this safety turn off on this shotgun? How do I actually rack another round into the chamber effectively and aim this thing? The thing I like about handguns is I can hold my child or my phone or my flashlight or open and close doors with one hand while I'm running the gun with the other if I need to. A lot harder to do that with a shotgun. The thing I like about a shotgun is once I have it shouldered, it is a part of my body, and where I look, it looks, and I can just like you were saying, Michael, it lays down the law in one fell swoop, and the conversation is usually over in one shot. So just a lot of stuff to think about there.
Interesting.
Totally.
So what else if somebody comes in and says, "Hey, I'm interested in home defense"? What kind of things should they consider, or what advice do you give, or what are some common mistakes?
Sure, we're having this conversation a lot right now because that's what everybody's thinking about, and even experienced shooters really have some misconceptions here. First of all, I just want to I'll skip right to the end. People should not be shooting double-aught buck in their homes. They also should not be shooting birdshot. There's this idea that, at short ranges, birdshot is just as good as a slug, and it's absolutely not true. That stuff squishes and slides around solid material like bone. It does not act like a slug. It doesn't have the kinetic energy to penetrate into the vital organs that we need to hit to immediately stop someone who's threatening us right now. So the answer is number 4 buck or number 1 buck. It's not a step down. It's actually a step up. Instead of getting 9 pellets of double-aught buck, because this all has to fit in the same shell, you lose a huge amount of potential firepower to the empty space between those round BBs, those round pellets. When you load number 4 buck, you've got 30 pellets, 25 caliber, and they fill the space. They fill the shell so much more densely. So you actually have more ballistic energy coming out of the end of your barrel with number 1 buck, and it's still plenty good enough to penetrate all the way into a bad guy that needs to get shot right now, as proven by FBI ballistic testing, even behind multiple layers of denim or what have you. And then lastly, you get the added advantage that you're not going through wall after wall after wall in your own home.
So what did you just suggest, David? Number 4 buckshot and?
Number 4 buck is the best, in my opinion. That's what Secret Service uses. FBI tends towards the number 1, a little bit more penetration, but fewer pellets. Both of them are 100% completely in the acceptable range of penetration in FBI ballistic tests.
What do you think of that?
Specialty load.
What do you think of that round that Winchester has? I think it's called a PDX round, I think, and it's a.
The PDX looks like a little helicopter.
Well, it's got a little slug in it, not a full size slug, and then it's got 3 00 pellets behind it. Sure. Are you familiar with that at all, or what are your thoughts on that?
I am. Again, I'm just absolutely against any slugs in a shotgun for home defense. There's no need for it. I'm not going to shoot things that I can't see in my home. I'll give you a little secret, and this is coming from someone with a lot of experience, but I do carry some double-aught buck on a side saddle so that if I do need to penetrate through something or get through a vehicle, I can.
It's there, yeah.
But that's a lot to think about for a new shooter or somebody who doesn't do this on a regular basis.
So number four, that number 4 shot is what you recommend for self-defense. Is there a particular?
Not shot. It's got to be buck. Shot is all for birds.
Yeah.
And buck is so even though it's not we're out of the zeros and a lot of people didn't know there's anything other than double-aught buck. No, this is buck shot, just a little smaller than that, like you said, 33 caliber 9 millimeter double-aught.
Is there a particular manufacturer that you recommend, or what are your thoughts on that?
Anyone works. Run yourself some number 4 and it'll all be good. Quickly transitioning to what everybody else is shooting, which is handgun rounds, I strongly recommend SCHP, solid copper hollow point rounds for home defense, especially where we live in Southern California, where people aren't busting down your doors in thick parkas and so forth. It's 100% within the acceptable range for these FBI ballistic tests. Very, very consistent penetration in the 14-inch range, and massive expansion, a very reliable, massive expansion. It expands about to 190% of its original size. So it's very nice. Big wound cavity.
If you keep calling in, I'm going to go broke. I got to go get new springs for my mags. I got to go get new shotgun shells. Now I got to get new carry ammo. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's an interesting thing. People say, hey, I use FMJ for practice, but that's not good enough for self-defense. And for self-defense, I use hollow points. But then why do people stock up on FMJ, Full Metal Jacket, for what they fear might be the end of times where they're going to actually have to be shooting bad guys that need to get shot? It doesn't make much sense. There are many, many affordable, low-cost hollow point bullets, and that's what people should be looking at stocking up on for really, really bad times.
All right, buddy. Well, it's always great chatting with you. Try not to get too crazy tomorrow, but you'll be ready for it.
Yeah.
A.O. Sword. Go check them out, folks. You'll love it. On FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
AM 1170.
The Answer.
And California's assault weapon laws make it almost impossible to own an AR pattern rifle. What's the solution? Cali Key converts any mil-spec direct impingement AR platform rifle into a straight pull-bolt action rifle so it can have all the features without being considered an assault weapon. It's a true drop-in solution. No milling, no aesthetic modifications, no turning off your gas system. Keep your entire AR collection intact at a price you can afford. Cali Key. CaliKey.com. KALIKEY.com. Self-defense and emergencies can happen to anyone, and unfortunately, the justice system may not be on your side. While you protect your family and property, U.S. Law Shield is here to defend you 24/7, 365 days a year, with the comprehensive self-defense coverage at an affordable price. Bad guys don't take days off, and neither does our coverage. What's your plan after you defend yourself or your family? Consider a plan from U.S. Law Shield. Check them out today at uslawshield.com. That's uslawshield.com. The refi bell just went off this week, even louder than before. Home mortgage interest rates have dropped to an historic low. If you're looking to buy or refi, or if you're considering a reverse mortgage, call our local mortgage guy that you can trust. That's Chris Wiley at PRMI Mortgage. For nearly 25 years, Chris has been helping local San Diegans with all their mortgage needs. Give Chris a call at 619-722-1303 or primeres.com/ Alpine. All right. This segment is Sam the Gunman. We're going to try to stump this little rascal.
What's up, Sam?
Living the dream.
There you go. How's life in Virginia?
Well, rainy, but I hear it's like that there, too. Everyone is absolutely freaking out because of the pandemic.
Oh, yeah.
Is it really? All that stuff's happening there, too, huh?
Yeah, definitely. Panic buying like you wouldn't believe.
Really?
So
Alleged pandemic.
You've been busy at the gun store?
Yeah, we're almost out of 9mm.
No, that's a bad day. Are you getting a lot of new shooters that are coming in, or non-gun owners that want to come in and buy a gun finally, or who's your clientele?
I don't know. It seems like maybe a little bit of that, but I don't really have any numbers to back that up. Mostly, as I alluded to, it's people buying ammunition.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, listen. Keep washing your hands. Stay clean. And anybody sneezes, run the other direction. That's my advice.
Yeah,
all right.
Keep hand sanitizer in the shop.
And hand sanitizer, plenty of that. Okay, so here is your question. Francine from San Marcos writes in. She points out that former vice president and current candidate for the Democratic nomination, Joe Biden, he suggested a lot of things with firearms. All of them ridiculous. But recently, he said that he wanted to ban AR-14s, which, of course, got him a lot of criticism because...
why did he get criticism?
Well, because as everybody knows, he was probably referring to an AR-15, an Armalite Model 15. And Armalite has a lot of different models. They have an AR-1 and an AR-7 and an AR-5 and an AR-10 and... but do they have? Does an AR-14 actually exist? And if so, tell us about it.
Yeah, was that abuse? Was that justified?
Now, funny you should mention that because I actually purchased. Well, my mom and I purchased an AR-7 for my father for his birthday, and we shot it the other day. But anyway, yeah, Armalite, back when it still existed in its original form, their model designation system was AR and then a number, starting with the AR-1. Now, I don't recall hearing about an AR-14 specifically. I believe they made one, but it was some kind of developmental prototype that never really entered full-scale production.
That's accurate. That's exactly accurate. Excellent! Oh, we got a new drop.
Yeah, we got
nice.
a new drop. Ooh.
AR stands for Armalite, which was the company that produced it. There were 14 designs for the AR-15. The AR-14 was actually an AR-14 auto-loading sporter. So it was semi-automatic. It looks very, very similar in design to an AR as far as AR-15 as far as the internals. But the buffer spring went down at an angle. So it had the same... stock. I mean, it looks like any. It almost looks like a shotgun, but it looks like any kind of rifle. But the buffer spring actually was at an angle, went down into the stock. Whereas on an AR-15, they raised the sights and changed the whole platform, which is one of the genius parts of the design of an AR-15.
It sounds kind of like the way an FNFAL works, and it also sounds like that might have been a good option for people in banned states had that ever gone anywhere. Yeah,
it really does look like that California AR. I can't remember the name of it, but there's a California AR that looks like a traditional hunting rifle, but it has the internals, like 90% of the same internals as an AR, and it's got that buffer spring that angles down in the buttstock. Well, there you go, man. What do you think of that? You got another one right.
Yes, indeedy.
Hey, speaking of AR-7, how did that shoot? I've got one in camo.
It's pretty nice. The trigger is honestly not great,
sure.
But I mean, for what it is, a rifle that you can take apart and store inside the stock, which forms a waterproof compartment that floats.
Yes.
And there's nothing else on the market that does that. And the price point, you can't beat it with a stick. Something I find really interesting about the AR-7, other than, of course, that you can store the whole thing inside the stock, is that you can really see a lot of those little design elements that Eugene Stoner would later go on to use in other designs of his. Like everything from the shape of the receiver to the way the recoil springs are arranged, some elements of the trigger mechanism, things like that. It's very interesting.
Yeah, it's a really neat little rifle. And what, real quick, what ammo did you run through at this time?
Just bulk pack 22. I don't remember what brand.
You know what the grain was or anything like that? Because but I also have some like mini mags or something, just in case. It's supposed to be able to fire that.
Either 38s or 40s. I can't recall, but I generally tend to like Federal.
Yeah, that's a super little rifle. Highly recommend it.
It's manufactured by Henry now, isn't it?
It is, yeah. After Fairchild Aircraft went through some rough financial straits and sold off the Armalite division, all their designs and patents went out to different companies. So Colt got the patents on the AR-15. I don't know who got the AR-10. The AR-7 changed hands, I think, a few times and eventually ended up at Henry. And so that's actually why Armalite had to develop the AR-18 and AR-180, because they didn't have the AR-15 patents anymore.
Interesting.
Yeah.
There's even an AR-50. Did you know that?
Yeah, it's so named for the caliber.
Exactly. It's a 50 caliber, single shot 50 caliber. Way back before Barrett was really kind of the king of the heap there. It seemed like everybody was coming out of the 50 cal, and that was theirs. So.
All right, buddy. Hey, awesome. It's good talking to you, and look forward to hearing from you next week.
Well, thanks very much for having me on. This was a lot of fun to talk about, and as I'm sure you could tell, I could go on at great length about this. Yeah,
one of these days we're going to bring you on for a whole hour. We'll fix you.
Oh, I would love that. Don't threaten me with a good time.
All right, buddy. Well, it's always good talking to you, and thanks a million.
You too. Have a good night.
Stay clean and safe.
Yes.
Yeah, you too. Stay safe out there.
Yes, indeed. Hand cleaner, here it comes. All right. Well, before we shut the door, we really want to let you know that all the shows that we do here are they're podcastable, and you can go to any of your podcast supporters and put Gun Sports Radio in, and you can listen to any and all our shows. And we really, really want to thank our supporters, Firearms Legal Protection at firearmslegal.com, San Diego County Gun Owners at SDCGO.org, CCW USA at CCWUSA.com, U.S. Law Shield at USLawShield.com, Cali Key at CaliKey.com, PRMI Mortgage at PRMERES.com/Alpine.com, Gatsky Dillon and Balance, LLP, CAFirearmsLaw.com, The Gun Range San Diego at TheGunRangeSanDiego.com, A.O. Sword Firearms Store at AOSword.com, and we really, really want to thank Lance Pelkey, Michael Schwartz, Joe Germisi, Sam the Gunman, and our illustrious board op, Mr. Intelligence, Brendan Thomas. And don't forget, go to gunsportsradio.com for comments and information. We would love to chat with you. And go out and join San Diego County Gun Owners. Michael cannot do it alone.
That's right.
All right, we're going to take just the rest of the day off. Enjoy yourself. Be safe. Yeah, I'm getting ready to do another hour.
Yeah, really.
Wash your hands.
Hey, Mr. Siegel's in the wings. Don't go anywhere until he comes on. You're going to love his show. Right here on FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
This program is sponsored by Dave Stahl.